Mark Skaife, the bloke, what's his best feature?
I don't really know, Croppo. I think maybe my commitment to motor racing. You're talking motor racing wise? Yeah. Maybe the commitment in terms of it's 100%. It's about what you like and what you do in motor racing. I go motor racing because firstly I enjoy the competition, and probably secondly I enjoy racing. But I also enjoy the intellectual part of it, the fulfilment you get from the whole spectrum of motor racing. It's a complex sport, and the car and the technical aspects make it rewarding, and it's a very complex way to play your sport. And I suppose the commitment to that is required to go well, and maybe that's my best feature.
Mark Skaife's worst feature?
I suppose my ease of frustration and maybe my lack of sufferance for fools around me and things are sometimes maybe my worst feature. I would think that along the way, probably when I see and feel things that aren't being done in the way that is necessary to be done to win, or to maybe have people putting in less effort than I perceive to be the right amount of effort, I find very frustrating. So I maybe air those frustrations a little too often.
Now look at Skaife. He's coming down the inside of Larry Perkins under brakes, and Skaife wants to lead this thing. There's no doubt about it. He's in a big hurry.
He certainly is, and Larry will let him lead for a while and sit in the draft as they reel one more off. And the Mark Skaife fans all jump up along the straight.
And look at the times, 2:15.5 on their third flying lap. That is unbelievable. These things in race trim, we saw them doing it yesterday with a full tank run, 2:15.5. That may be the pace for these early laps of the race.
Larry and I were within millimetres of each other a couple of times, and you have respect. You know that your peers drive very well, and you don't do things that are silly. And in that particular race, we just drove the wheels off the car for the whole time. And I can't remember a better race, because for me to start a race and finish 6.5 hours later within 10 seconds of each other is just the way it should be.
Worst moment at Bathurst?
Well, yeah, I would say worst moment of Bathurst would be 87 when I stopped in the first lap. It was not only, embarrassing to be stopped on Conrod Straight in the first lap, can you believe your luck? But it was just incredible to go there and for the first time stop on the first lap of the race, biggest race in Australia, and, it was just disheartening.
This is bloody disgraceful. I'll keep racing, but I tell you what, this is going to remain with me for a long time. You're a pack of arseholes.
What was going on inside your mind when all that was taking place?
Well, I suppose I'm really very glad that Jim made his statement there, because obviously I was feeling the same things, and I was just unbelievably disappointed in the way that the crowd could perceive a sporting performance. That was how I look at motor racing. We're just sportsmen, and we just do our best whenever we're in a car, and we took risks in qualifying and in the race that were just, as big a risk as you can take in a race car. And then for it to rain throughout the day and to get through and really lead the race all day, obviously we deserved to win the race. And then to have something like that be put on you at a time when you thought your performance was pretty good, and the crowd to display such, honestly, it was just horrific. It was just one of those things where, if I was 20 years down the track, it would probably stop me from motor racing, because it just wouldn't appeal to me.
Do you think people misunderstand Mark Skaife?
Well, yeah, I suppose they do, and it does piss me off a little bit, because I'm just a normal guy. But in the way that I approach racing, I'm not really there to make friends. So in terms of, if I wanted to make friends, I'd go to the pub and have beers, It's not what we're there to do. And out of it, if there's some friends and some people that you can associate with and you enjoy their company, fantastic. And I would say that some of my best friends are motor racing people. I spend a fair bit of time with Jim and Glenn and yourself and a heap of guys that I really enjoy having a beer with. But if I didn't, it wouldn't break my heart.
Take a look at Nissan track cam. This is from Jim Richards' perspective, chasing his teammate Mark Skaife, who out-qualified him this weekend, and he's in 7th place at the moment.
I suppose Lakeside in 1989 was not a turning point in my career, but a time when I honestly thought that, hey, I can go as good as any of these guys now. And it was a race where Jim was very strong in the championship, and I actually, for the first time in my career, out-qualified Jim and was racing in front of him. And towards the end of the race, I let Jim pass for championship points. But basically, on that day, I could go as good as what Jim Richards did. I would say on that day, yeah, confirmed in my own mind that I was maybe talented enough to go all right. And that's a difficult thing to accept.
Up to that point, had there been any self-doubts?
Yeah, no doubt, you know. I think anybody that's critical of the way they look at their sport or their, you know, their business or whatever it is, your performance in whatever you do has got to be an honest one. I think over a period of time, there were a few times when I sort of thought to myself, I don't know when I'll ever go that quick. Bathurst was one of the first times. I remember in 1988, you know, Jim was like 2 seconds a lap faster than me at Bathurst, and every lap I did, I was like white knuckle fever. I hung onto that wheel so tight a couple of times. Like, I reckon if they put one of those heart monitors on me, it would have made 240, you know. But I got to the end of every lap and thought, whew, that's another one down.
Any regrets?
Have you got an hour? Or yeah, you know, I've got regrets. I've got regrets of some of the ways that I've handled some things, whether they've been a bit arrogant or the way that they've been perceived, maybe not actually how it is, but there's been some situations like that in Australia. There's been some situations where in Europe and some races in Asia or Japan where I maybe didn't get a go or didn't go well enough when I did get a go. I suppose overall I do regret not having a go at Europe a bit younger because, you know, probably at 27, even though that may sound young, you really should have been there 5 years ago. And then on the other side, you know, I wouldn't have been able to achieve what I've done in Australia if I'd went away and done those things. So in some ways, I think you make decisions and you've got to live by them, and that's sort of the way that I've tried to approach it.
One of many very interesting characters that'll be driving in the Tooheys 1000. Mark Skaife with Neil Crompton. Australia-wide Sunday, October 2. Just check your local guides for details of that telecast of break. Back with more after